Hello friends, I am Dr. Mayank Uppal. I am consultant in internal medicine at Sitaram Bhartiya Institute of Science and Research, New Delhi. What are the medicines that we can take for diarrhea? So I would not suggest to take any over-the-counter medications for diarrhea or from a chemist for that matter, as is very commonly practiced in our country. The only thing that you need to remember is hydration, hydration, and hydration. So keep yourself hydrated well. If ORS is available for you, that is the best. If ORS is not immediately available, you can make any balanced solution with salt and sugar. So you can have a nimbu pani with salt and sugar. You can have a lassi or a charge made at home. You can have fresh coconut water. Avoid all packaged stuff. Make everything fresh at home, and ORS is the best. So just keep yourself hydrated well, and you will be fine. The most other questions that often come with it: if we have high fever, can it cause damage to us? Well, fever is sort of body's reaction to the infection, and rarely does the fever go so high that fever in itself will cause you any permanent damage. However, it must be considered that any fever more than 104 should be treated in a hospital, because very high fever can cause other complications. But very rarely will the fever be so high that it should require medical attention for the fever itself. But definitely, a high fever does denote an underlying infection, and that underlying infection definitely must be treated with the consultation of your doctor. Now, there are few things that I will answer as true or false, and probably it's good that you can take the quiz with me. Question commonly asked is: does spending too much time in the sun cause fever? So no, it doesn't cause any fever. Fever is usually an outcome of infection. Spending too much time in the sun while you are not hydrated well can cause something which is known as hyperthermia, or which is commonly known as heat stroke, which is not fever, which is just overall rise in body temperature, because the body is not able to compensate for the high temperature because you're not hydrated well. So again, the point here which is important is, whenever you're going out in the sun, make sure that you're hydrated well. Carry water bottle along with you, especially with the heat wave that is going on, and keep yourself hydrated well. So it does not cause a fever, but it definitely can cause heat stroke in prolonged exposure. So keep yourself hydrated well. The other question is that if you have a fever, can drinking ice cold water bring your fever down? So no, ice cold fever will not bring your fever down, but drinking room temperature or slightly cold water can help in keeping you hydrated well and bringing the overall fever down. Ice cold water is sometimes used as a treatment for hyperthermia, but for all practical purposes for you guys, I think make sure that you are just drinking room temperature water, or maybe slightly cold water if you like that. But ice cold water, or some people suggest swallowing a few cubes of crushing ice and swallowing a few cubes of that, so that does not help in bringing down the fever. The other common question is that should we remain in an air conditioned room or under the fan while we have a fever? Will it be harmful for us? So no, you can comfortably stay in a air conditioned or a fanned room. That depends on how comfortable you're feeling with it. If you're feeling cold, and if you're getting a lot of chills and you want to put the temperature down and shut the AC off, that's fine too. If you're feeling comfortable in the air conditioned room, you can stay there. There is a misconception that sweating it out, or taking a couple of blankets and just making yourself sweat will help with the fever. So that is not true. In fact, that may be counterproductive, in the sense that you're keeping the heat inside. The body is trying to put the heat out, and you're wrapping yourself in blankets and keeping the heat in. So that will be counterproductive. Again, here, if you feel like taking a blanket or a comforter or anything like that, so it's totally, just be guided by what your body feels like. Don't feel uncomfortable in any situation. Whatever your body feels comfortable in, you can do that, and that is the best thing for you.